So you see, generally when a guy is having, they believe that they are dominating the woman. Like how you were saying, she's screaming, she's doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually don't come off with the angle of making sure she must be screaming. I mean, yeah, of course she's screaming, right? But that is not my MO. It's not my take home, so to say.
What up, people? It's your favorite podcast, Men, back again with another one. It is Michael Scenario.
And I'm Murray Welcome.
And we are the men from Menisms. We are back with another episode. Shout out to all of you beautiful people that keep watching, that keep subscribing. We got all the subscribers on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, everywhere. Yeah. Continue to subscribe. And thank you for your support. You know, we got love for you. And we got a very, very, very interesting topic today that, you know, may not talk as much.
Yeah.
I'm joking. We are not scared of anything. We're not scared of any topic, any person. But today's topic is a very interesting one that I feel like a lot of guys don't talk about together. We usually just talk about the action itself. But it's basically the question of, did you make her come?
Did you make her come?
Did she get her orgasm? Did she catch it? Now, a lot of girls are going to watch this very triggered. Because we all know, statistically, more times than not, women ain't getting their orgasm. We know. And most times, guys will never admit it to other men or talk about, like, yeah, I made an orgasm. No, you're just going to say I had sex and all that. But guess what? She didn't come, bro. So to her, it doesn't even count. So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, we're going to dive deep into it. I can't lie. It's more of in my late 20s that, I'll be honest, I started paying attention to that.
Right.
Because in my early 20s, I won't lie, I was more cocky in terms of, like, we said it on the last episode about, you know, your whole phase, stuff like that. Like, I was just in the phase like, yo, I'm cool. I got mine. You get what I'm saying? I would assume a lot of times that a girl enjoyed it, which I'm sure she did, but you never knew if she actually got her orgasm or not because I never had that kind of communication. Right. It wasn't until, funny enough, let me tell you the funny thing of how I actually took it seriously. So, like I said, I didn't have those conversations with the girls I was before because I was younger and all that, but it wasn't until I got into a relationship that my ex now at one point, like a year in or something, because it was long distance, so we still never got to see and all that, but it was just one day, she just told me, like, we had sex one time, it was, like, good, like, we enjoyed it, and then, I'm just asking, I just asked her for the first time. Because, again, in a relationship, you're comfortable enough to have those kind of conversations. So I was like, yo, did you orgasm? And then she looked at me. She's like, nah. She's like, I actually haven't yet in our relationship. Say, what? But wait, we've been together for, like, months now, like, almost a year. But, I mean, it's long distance. But it's like, yo, wait, whoa. But we enjoy. It's like, yeah, no, don't get it twisted. Like, I enjoyed the other ones, but she hasn't yet. And then from that day, that's when I started paying more attention to it, because it's not just about the physical act when it comes to a woman having an orgasm. You know, there's the mental side. There's a lot of other factors that play into her being comfortable enough and her body also getting comfortable enough that she does. So, like I said, it wasn't until that day of that conversation. And mind you, that's me saying this as 26, 27 years old. So that means those early years,
you were just doing your thing.
And it was gamble. It could have happened. It couldn't. I just never wasn't comfortable enough. But now at this age now, like I said, even post-relationship now, even now that I'm not in my whole phase now, but if I'm dating somebody and all that, I have to be comfortable enough with them that I can have those conversations. Not that it's just casual. Because if it's casual, you ain't going to care. And even at this point in life, you most times don't even have time. So it's like now I actually ask those questions. But what about you? Like, what's your thoughts on it, or how do you discover or get into it?
So the funny thing is, for me, I've never once in my entire life asked a woman if she came.
Never asked?
I've never asked her. I've never, I can't even like begin to process putting that question together and asking.
Interesting. Right? Good. Why? How come?
Okay, so I guess in my own case, right, I've always viewed sex as me giving and the person receiving, right? I mean, I guess, of course, I had to learn that after a while, but even then, that's how I started off. And because it was more, so I mean, and because of that, I'm a pleaser. So until the person is or seems satisfied, I don't get satisfaction, right? So I don't feel fulfilled. I don't feel. Now, in my earlier days, did the women that I, had sex with come? I may or may not know. It seemed like they did. If it wasn't like the typical cum or orgasm, it was some satisfaction from the sex. But I don't think I was fully aware of, like, if a woman came or not, because I guess I understood early that it was different for both genders. Like, how a guy would come is very different from how a woman would come, right? So I understood that it was just different. And even till now, there's so many guys who would have had sex with so many women and still have no idea.
You probably have it. And the funny thing is, not to even be like harsh or anything, but we probably have it.
Exactly, yeah. Right. So in fact, if you have to think about whether you have, you probably
wouldn't,
have it,
and that's because we would never know. No matter the reactions, like you said, like the reaction she has, or you think she enjoys, oh, she's screaming, oh, this is shaking. It will shock you that they'll say no, not orgasm, and it's like, whoa, you were shaking though, but you were doing this.
So you know the thing I've gotten to realize. In most cases, after trying, so let's say you're having sex for the first time with the person, right? After doing what you know, right? It's also a communication of what they like. Because again, for women, what I believe is as you're doing it, you're kind of talking to them, okay, is this something you like? Mm-hmm. Is this something I should keep doing? Do you want us to do something else? I might not say it that way as a whole conversation, but there's a way you would communicate that is quick while you're not interrupting the act itself, And so the woman would always have to guide you as to what it is that gets them off. There are usually two major things. One, clitoral stimulation. Two, penetration, right? A lot of women will tell you they don't come from penetration. A lot of women will tell you that. A lot of them will tell you it's mostly clitoral, and that's why sex toys sell a lot, because a lot of sex toys are clitoris based, right? Mm-hmm. So, you even hear now that a lot of women will complain that the art of fingering is now lost in culture or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. It's lost in our generation now, and that lets you know that that's also another way that women come, because they tell you that there's also the internal clit, and I kind of have to. I mean, we're not getting into the anatomy of women. I was about to say that's very scientific and all that. But so we're not getting into the anatomy of women right now. But I guess for me, because I said I'm a pleaser, I'm always keen on the problem is, things,
but there's still one problem. Mm-hmm. You've never asked.
Yes, but that's the thing. Not asking. I don't know how I was able to transgress from not asking to actually knowing, because now I definitely know when a woman comes.
But you see, even that's because they're gonna still say that's still not knowing though, because you ain't asked.
I think I know why now. So you see, generally when a guy is having sex, they believe that they're dominating the woman. Like how you were saying, she's screaming, she's doing this. Mm-hmm. So I usually don't come off with the angle of making sure she must be screaming. I mean, yeah, of course she's screaming, right? But that is not my MO. It's not my take home, so to say, right? And because it's not, they see that whatever faking they're doing could easily be identified, because I'm not there to just feed my ego or whatever it is, like most guys would, right? They want to be like, how much she was screaming, I give her a fact, she couldn't move again. No. That's feeding your ego. Mm-hmm. For me, I don't go there to feed my ego. I go there more for mutual pleasure, right? So if the person feels like she's faking, she's doing herself. Because you're faking...
This guy really switched the whole scenario and said, well, if you're faking, that's your problem.
Yeah, because...
That is your problem.
Because the truth is, I'm not... I'm of the opinion that there's definitely no one way to the woman's body, right? So you're not just coming thinking that pounding you did for person A would work for person B. Mm-hmm. So I always start by understanding the person's body, and naturally, whether people want to fake it or not, your body always gives you away. If you don't like something, your body gives you away.
I still don't trust that.
If you're paying attention, trust me.
Even if no, bro, this is me, because. Like I said, women are bastards in a good way. I still love you, but they can be bastards.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Even that whole body shaking, doing this, it may still not mean. That's what I said. I get where you're coming from. Like, obviously, there's a point as a guy, especially at a certain age or point, that you yourself will be able to tell. However, even in me saying that, I still don't want to be naive and say, I know. Me personally. Because that's why I said I don't mind asking. But that's why I said, even with the girls, if I'm going to mess with the girl, it has to be a point that I'm comfortable enough to ask. Because if I can't ask you, I'm just going to assume in my head. And I can't lie. Maybe it's subconscious, but ever since, like I said, my ex said that thing, I ain't taking no more chance. I ain't taking no... Because, bro, I had to sit back and look at some performances. I'd be like, but wait, I swear I was killing this shit. And you still didn't. But I swear it was wet. And, It still don't mean...
So I think it's generally about the approach, because when I think back on, because I also have, and I think that's, see, so even for me, I mean, maybe TMI, but it takes me a while to come as well, right? It takes me a while. And
fair enough.
There are several times, in fact, a very, very good number that the person won't get to experience me coming, right? And so I'm used to that. I imagine that this is what women also experience as well. So when I'm having sex, my end goal is not to come. My end goal is to enjoy the experience.
Your end goal is not to, what?
It's really not. I've thought that's it. There are times I don't come. Like we have the sex, she's come, she starts it, but I don't come, and I don't feel like it's. You know, the approach is different.
I'm finishing. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, at some point, you don't care how long it is. At some point, I'm not holding that. Man.
I get that. But for me, it's a different approach, and so when the person also realizes that I'm not there for me, I'm there for the person's pleasure. There's just a way that your bodies will kind of, interact. Not saying now that every time every time a woman comes, right? But you would know when I know when it is, and it's not.
I still feel like you gotta ask, bro.
No, and it's not from body shaking. You see, I feel like body shaking is kind of like you looking for something you can hold on to and be like, yeah, she was shaking. No.
What I'm saying is like, again,
no, I don't mean you.
I know. I'm just saying like if you don't ask. Like you said, the other ways for you to identify, like I said, because for me now, what else are you gonna? Is either her body reactions, physical reactions from what she says. As I said, how else are you going to know?
You know what? I feel like, let me just be very blatant.
How else are you going to know if you don't ask?
Let me just be very blunt. So, in my own sexual experiences, at least, I don't want to have to speak for the woman per se, but she can almost tell in my eyes, like, yeah, this nigga's it's like his intention is to make me come. I can see from what he's doing that his intention is to make me come. And whenever that happens, you see them actually, sometimes it's psychological as well. Mm-hmm. You know how they say that if a guy doesn't want to come, he has to think about like random stuff. Like, that's psychology. So that's you like intentionally not trying to come. But there are also things that you can think about that can get you there faster. Do you understand? So when a woman knows that that's really where you're trying to head, like you are actually like you're looking her straight in the eyes and you're saying, I hope you can see that we are here for you. Yeah. So when that happens, she somewhat switches gear and it's just almost like she now knows she's there for her. Now, if she doesn't come, it's also because she could be like me where she takes a while to come and it just has to. You guys have to keep going.
Back to my point, like is she was still enjoying it, but she can hold it.
That's why I said she would have to like guide you on how to make
I ain't gonna lie. I feel like we gotta ask, man. Like, no.
Fair enough. I
respect your view, like I said. Yeah. But sometimes you'd rather not even ask. Okay. Me personally, it's not every time I want to be asking.
Okay. I mean, I definitely want to hear in the comments if you guys are asking. Like, we want to know if you guys
like ask.
We also want to know if the women are telling. So because I think as much as people say talk about it and talk about what you like, you may not always have that opportunity because there's sometimes it happens spontaneously, or there are times when it just feels awkward to have the sex conversation. You want to kind of like have the communication during.
I'm by the way, not to say it's every single time. Hey, did you? Hey, did you? But yeah. I feel like that's why I said like if it's a point that, especially like you said, like you would know. There's sometimes like yourself. Like me, I know if I'm having sex, like I know what position and relationship I have with the girl that we can ask. Like I ain't messing with a girl that is like I can't ask you now. But that's already like for me already if I know I ain't gonna ask you and all that, like
you might not even really want to.
I'm not even going to entertain it because it's gonna be like all right next, and I'm not even on that phase of life anymore. Okay. But another thing is because some women now, like you said, I feel like there's a difference with when they say they've orgasm. Like for example, some mistakes we make as guys, like we're just talking about it now, like her physical reactions, like if she gets like very wet, if she like squirts on the bed or something, or, like I said, she shakes a bit. Like when I say shake, I'm not saying like trauma, like
I mean there is the trauma one, but
there's trauma, but I'm just saying like you get what I say. There's reactions that she's having that you can tell she's enjoying it because that's her physical reactions, but it still doesn't mean. Because I ain't gonna lie, I thought that shit. There were times like I'll be in that shit, I'll be like, yeah, my bad, yeah. Like I said, it was like that ego for me personally that played a part. That it's like, yeah, I saw this and all that, and that's why I said from the day they told me, nah.
So let me tell you one thing that I think can be a take home. Of course, again, like we said, women's bodies are different, so not everybody applies it. But from my little experience, please emphasis on little, so that we're all there. Yes, from my little experience. The women I've been with, there's usually a commonality. If a woman comes or orgasms, she almost can't keep going right away. She has to take like a a few seconds to take a break. Like, and that break is not because she's tired. You can actually see her body spasming. Like, you can actually like see her trying to get a hold of her senses, right? Now, a lot of people say things like, "Oh yeah, she's faking it. She's faking it." If a woman is faking it and you don't know, I'm sorry, that's a you problem. Like,
no, that's not true.
I mean, like,
you don't know. Because you don't know. You wouldn't know.
Sex. I'm not talking about faking the sex. I mean,
the
like,
orgasm.
Yeah, like
you won't know,
bro. I don't think anyone gets to the point where they are faking pushing you off to take a break.
Women are the smartest individuals ever. Look. Let's be honest, man to man. Even you, when you date, look, there's shit we can talk right now, guy to guy right now. There's shit we can talk right now. But when you're in that bedroom alone with your partner, when it's just two of you that you are vulnerable, there are things you've done that you yourself know you won't confess here now. And me too, I'll confess. Look, bro, I've talked so much shit that inside I'm just like, this can be, am I the same person? Like,
I agree. I definitely
said I'll never do this thing and look at me, boom.
I mean, I definitely agree to that. But I guess maybe, that's why I said my own personal story. Like, it's not, I don't think I can easily, okay, so I've never had an experience where someone was outright faking it. And because for you to even fake it, like for you to get to the point where you're faking it, it means that you believe that there's an ego of mine you need to feed.
There could be, there could. That's what I said. I personally,
I don't approach sex that way.
But that's what I said. It's not about you. It's not about you anymore.
I can only talk about me.
No, that's what I'm saying. Even you.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, even you.
Yeah.
You know yourself, how you handle your shit and all that. But even with her, we don't know her intentions. I'm saying for both of us as men. I'm just saying for men out there, like, we know our intentions.
Oh, we know I see what you're saying. Even
her, we can't control her reactions now. Like, we don't know what she's thinking in our head. That's what I'm saying. Like, to us, we know genuinely, we probably doing this shit. We're doing that. We're seeing your reactions, but I don't know what's going on in your head. Okay. I don't know what you're thinking.
So I have a question then. So, I mean, as much as you have to ask, you ask sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. Do you also, there's also still, it's just the same way, I guess women sometimes can tell when a guy's about to come, I guess. They say that they can, right? You see, for them to be able to tell, it means that there's something guys would do on a general platform that can give that away. So do you think there's anything that you've experienced with like the women you've been with that you can tell is some sort of giveaway that, oh yeah, she's gonna come or she's about to come? Is there anything? Yeah. Like what? Give me one example.
Damn, it's too much PMI.
What? I mean, that's why we're here.
We don't say that.
You're trying to feed people who don't know shit. So yeah.
Damn, I'm a
sorry.
Very private person.
You put yourself in this.
I can tell. Like, I usually like it's communication. I'll say communication. Like we be talking. Like it's not full conversation, like you said, but we'll be talking that you can tell me, and then vice versa too. I can tell you, or there's certain phrases or things you're gonna say and all that. Or I always say like, I don't want to give up too much PMI, but you can usually tell when them grabs are getting a little bit harder. Like harder.
Okay,
like,
so you do.
But again, I'm not assuming. That's what I'm saying. I'm not assuming.
This is not an assumption anymore.
I can tell, like, okay, at that point, there's a feeling you have now that it's like, all right, yo, my neck is actually hurting. Like, it's hurting a little bit. The scratch, like, hey, why is my neck
this is what I'm saying.
Cool. Okay, the hug is getting a bit tighter now. Then after that, maybe like you said, the reaction of like the deep sigh, like that. So there's a sigh that you hear, like.
So you see what I mean. So you see what I mean when I say, as much as we say that women fake, there's a way that the human body works.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
It is even involuntary. You would even ask them. They will say, "I would like, right now I have a scar on my neck," and they'll be like, "What? I don't remember that."
Because we would be messing with girls that genuinely you don't have to worry about that. But we've been in phase. I'm sure I can't speak for you, so I've been in. Okay, I'll speak for myself and maybe some other guys. Mm-hmm. There's some girls you mess with you ain't supposed to be messing with. You could have been there. Have you been there?
Of course, in my younger days, yes.
Okay, they're good.
And that's my point.
And then even with those girls that you mess with, you are thinking, yeah, I'm hitting this, but you don't know her entire. Okay, I'll give it. Let me give an example. I'll give an example.
Okay. Go ahead.
There was a time in college, long time ago, very long time ago. There was a girl I was messing with at a house party. Like, she came through, she was visiting, all that shit. I could tell she had a crush on me and all that. Boom. One thing led to another in the house party in college and all that. She stayed the night. Now, obviously, I do my thing. Like, that night she stayed over, do my thing. I'm thinking, like, I killed that shit. Only for me to find out 2 days after that, right after that, she went to my boy's house. Now, she's not going to know I know this. Like, they got to come to me after, like, yo, like, in fact, it was funny. Like, my boys came over the next day. Yo, the party was crazy. I'm like, yeah, because me, I don't even kiss and like, I don't even talk about it. It wasn't until we were even talking, like, yeah, I had this chick come over, like, right after your house party. I'm like, whoa, what chick is that? She like this? The one from, yo. Now, mind you, I just told you, right before, I'm not saying it again, it's not every girl, but it's like in the situation. Every girl, like right then, I'm thinking, I'm killing that. We had a party and all that, only for me to find out right after you go to my boy's house and you do the same thing. You don't even know we're boys.
Yeah. So that, I mean, that I can see and I agree, because I mean, when I was younger, like, I mean, this topic is really big. There's a lot of details, and I don't. Yeah. Okay. So okay. So, you know how you mentioned in a previous episode where I would like giving head, cunnilingus. Yeah, I'd like giving head, right? But I feel like before I got to this point of knowing how to, I definitely was at a stage where I thought I was doing it good, but I was doing absolute shit, right? And when I think back then, I cringe, because I'm just like, I thought I was killing it then. But you see, the difference was the approach. Like, I was doing it then because it was just another act during sex. So you know how, like, you say, okay, you go from missionary, then you do doggy. Some people just switch positions because it's just another act during sex. In my opinion, or rather in my own case, now when I'm having sex or whatever and I'm switching positions, it's not because it's just another position. In fact, in most cases, because I already know what that position may do to you. I already know what this position may do to you. I already know how you may react. Now, I'm saying may because people don't react the same way to different positions, right? But I already know what, for example, I know what a drag you to the edge of the bed while I'm standing missionary is different from the two of us are on the bed missionary. So you see what I'm saying? But the approach is different. When I was younger, we would probably just be doing missionary out of the, okay, I did missionary now for doggy. After doggy, then we'll now do. So the approach is different. And because the approach is different, like how you see the body communication is different. At that point, you're looking out for just.
Are you saying you're going to notice everybody? You're not going to notice body communication unless you have a certain level of relationship with that person.
I agree.
If you're touring on that level and you're doing all these positions,
this is
why are you going to notice?
Okay, so this is why I keep telling. This is why I keep telling people, and I keep saying that I can't do paid sex. I can't do. Okay, I pick a hooker. I mean, no shade to the hookers, but I can't pick a hooker and like have sex because there's nothing. I have nothing to work with. Like I need to talk to you a little bit, just even have an idea of something you like, stuff like that. And I don't mean, especially because I know I'm paying you for it. I already know that you're probably doing half of it because it's your job, right? So basically, there's nothing for me to read because you're probably faking everything. Exactly. So as opposed to someone who is genuinely about her orgasm, especially now, women, like if they're gonna have sex, they want to orgasm. Like if they know they actually want to go through the sex itself, that is not because they think they're getting a favor from you, but more because they like you enough to have the sex. They want to orgasm from it, right? And because they do, sometimes they'll direct. For example, I can do a position and be like, "Oh yeah, that's hurting," and then you switch, right? And you see, but now that the approach is different. When you were younger, the woman might not even say that it's painful, but you can see from her face. Sometimes you can even see, even like, hey, are you okay? Do you want to switch position? She doesn't have to say that it's painful. But then younger you would probably have just been going. So that's my point. So the approach is different. Because the approach is different and she sees that you're paying attention, and after you stop and be like, are you okay? And then she's like, actually, the position is kind of hurting me a little bit. At that point, she already knows that, okay, you're about her orgasm as well. You guys will be guiding yourselves. Now, whether she gets the orgasm in the end or not, is kind of dependent on you.
Not everybody that they guide each other.
Yeah. And I agree. Right. So, but my point is, body communication has a huge part to play, right? Of course, again, your individual bodies also have a huge part to play. Because how to know the woman is going to orgasm, it would be nice if she tells you without you asking. I mean, that mostly happens in my case. Maybe that's why I don't ask, actually. Good point. Maybe that's why I don't ask. So they usually just say, right? And yeah, so maybe hope that she says to you.
No, you still got to ask, bro. You can't even.
So again, like I said, I've never.
You can't just say that. You have to ask. There's no way, because like I said, I've learned. Like I said, maybe one thing. Okay, you know what? I'll say this. With this is gonna sound. I know somebody's gonna use this shit against me, but it's okay. So with Lagos babes, I've noticed. I'll ask, but it don't really come up because they are. not as open to talk about it.
They're not.
Compared to the American
They're
slash London. In fact, I won't even say London girls too. Some of them can be shy, then some of them are confident. It's 50-50. But American girls, hey, they'll tell you straight up, hey,
they will let that shit out.
I ain't got my nut. What's up? What's up? And you're like, not kid. Like you two caught that. Like, so Lagos girls now notice they won't really talk about it as much unless you literally build that relationship. But other countries now they will tell you. So I guess for me, coming from the outside in, I'm already used to being in situations where it can be talked about. That I don't have to. Yeah, like I said, the position I'm in now, I don't have to do that guessing game. Like, yo, if we together, we can talk. Like, you can ask me shit, I'm going to ask you shit. So I'm going to just ask you. So that way you even tell me if I need to improve. You get what I'm saying? So it's not even more of like, I'm not even asking anymore on an ego kind of thing. I'm asking generally because if we like each other to that extent, or we fucking like, I want to know what makes it better for you. So you tell me if you have it. Now, if I happen to be doing it that, I don't need to add anything, hey, we good. But then if there's something else I'm missing out, tell me. Because, again, it's not going to be perfect every first time, but at the same time, me as a guy, I know what to do at this stage. But I always just say, like, with women, I don't like assuming. Because even as women get older, it changes. Because the same way you can make, because that's another thing about women's orgasms. Some women can get their nuts very early in their 20s and all that, but some of them in their 30s.
Yeah, and usually that comes from like several experiences you've had.
Exactly, I'll say because
using toys, just having different guys that you've experienced and different ways.
Speaking of which, has a girl ever asked you to use a toy to get her orgasm during sex?
Yeah.
Have you?
There are. So you see, again, like I said, my approach is a little different. So, okay, some people get orgasms. Some women get orgasms from both clitoral and penetration at the same time. So it's either while you're penetrating, she's either like also playing with herself or she's using a toy. So I understand the dynamic, but you see, the thing is, at that point, your ego is not the problem. Some guys will be like, oh no, you don't need a toy when you have me. That's where you start having problems, see. So when she's giving you a go ahead, sometimes it could even be that she's telling you to go slower. Or when women say things like just like that usually always literally means that tempo, keep it. But a lot of guys just like that, they start going faster. So it's communication, but it might not come off as the conversation type of communication. It could just be little words here and there. It could just be, okay, say this, move your body a certain way. You just kind of know, even you to adjust, because those times they're adjusting is because they are also trying to, get that position that will get them there quicker. But that is if they know that your intention is to actually get them to come, right? So
we all learning here,
yeah. And I think another thing a lot of guys need to mix up is that squirting doesn't actually mean she's orgasming, because it is two different feelings, right? Some women orgasm before they squirt, some women orgasm during, some even do like much after, like they've squirted but they haven't even come yet. And so you have times where she squirts and she's like, yeah, but I didn't come. And you're sitting there confused, like, how?
Guys,
what do you
let's
mean?
just make it easy and just ask. Let's just ask. Peace of mind is everything. Don't get, but me, like I say, peace of mind. What did you did? No problem. We move on. You did? Well done. But because of time, like I said, great topic, but we got to go again.
Yeah, we got to go
as Menisms boys, as you know. But ladies, we actually want to hear from you on this topic, because in the end, this is the male perspective that's not talked about a lot. Like, in the end, there's no wrong answer from any of us. It's just that we're actually stating our opinion. But we actually want to know from you guys, because it's your body and it's you guys that will help us understand, what there is, what you need to do perhaps, or what are the signs that maybe the conversation doesn't need to come up. Because again, not everybody's comfortable to have that conversation of did you or did you not. While some people, but at the same time, they still want to know if you did or, so let us know in the comments and all that. But, again, shout out to you guys. Make sure you keep subscribing. If you have personal questions for us, you can ask us too. Yeah.
And then also, just before we round up and before we close up completely, I just want to say that if you're a guy also advising your younger guys about, women and orgasming, don't tell the guy to just pound her to death, please.
Yeah, that's actually very true.
Because I see that a lot of guys always just say, oh, once you just finish her, it's not really about that. Then there's also, don't also like sell yourself short because you think it's about size. I mean, size does matter to a very good extent, but the bigger is not always the better, right? But be big enough. I mean, well, that's, I guess, it's not you to control. No, but point being that, look, communicate, like listen to her. Women would always kind of guide you if they feel like you have their orgasm at heart. So yeah.
You've heard it here first. And again, with that, make sure you subscribe to all our channels, to our YouTube, to our Spotify, to our iTunes.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys. Leave comments on the YouTube, leave comments on the Instagram. And until next time, we'll see you guys.
Yep.
All right, what up, guys? It's your favorite podcast man out here with you. And look, February 6th, we're going to be outside at Africa Next, formerly known as Social Media Week. We are going to be live panelists. We're going to be live talking about any topic you want to talk about, and you get to see us in person and ask those questions. So make sure you check the link in the bio, check the link on the page. You can get your tickets, come through, support, and yeah, you get to see us in person. So we hope to see you there.
Let's have a good time.